Hey, welcome back to the Ernest P YouTube channel. I'm Ernest, and we're here with another episode of Roadside Rescue. So I just got a call from this lady. She was at a drive-in movie theater. She left her car running because it's had a tendency to die over the past couple of weeks. Battery-wise, like if they shut it off, then it's hard to get it started again. And so while it was running, they said it died, and they can't get it to start, they can't get it to jump. So sounds like an alternator, since it died while it was running. I'm not sure what kind of jumper cables or anything they were using. I would almost expect it to start even with a completely dead battery and alternator. But again, that's with my jumper box. That's really strong. So if they were just using jumper cables in a different vehicle, it might not have been enough. So we're gonna go pick up an alternator and a battery just to cover the bases on that. We'll get them what they need, but we're gonna pick that up right now, and we'll head over there and do some diagnosing on their vehicle and get those parts changed out if they need something new. All right, so I actually just got done with that. I didn't even get a video filmed while I was out there working on it because it turned out to be just a battery. But I put my multimeter on the battery and it was completely dead. Well, I think what I did first was I jumped it, and then I put the multimeter on and it had 14.2 volts. So I was like, because the battery pack I have will put out 12 volts, it won't put out 14. It just puts out a lot of amps. So as long as it's above 12, I know that it's the alternator, not the battery pack. So it was at 14.3 or 0.24 or something like that. And so I was like, well, it could be an intermittent alternator issue. So I shut the van off. The battery was completely dead. It just drained down past 8 volts real fast. So I had a battery with me as well, because I figured if it's not the alternator, it's the battery. I picked both up just in case. And since I was talking to the lady on the phone, since we're doing social distancing, I just got in the zone, just threw the battery in there. It was really fast, and now it's running good. It's got a new battery. The alternator's putting out fine voltage. I said it could always be an intermittent alternator issue as well. So if the battery light ever comes on or anything like that, then just let me know and we'll come take a look at the alternator as well. I doubt it. It's running fine. So with the alternator from this morning, who I didn't film, they actually said that they were driving their car and the battery light came on. So I'm gonna go check it out, but at that point, it's either gonna be something weird in the connection or the alternator cable or wire, or just a bad alternator that's having intermittent problems. So that's most likely. I'm gonna go test it, and more likely than not, we're gonna be replacing this alternator as well. And their old battery, unfortunately, was toasted from that bad alternator. So I guess just a stroke of bad luck for them. I thought, 9 times out of 10, if it has a bad battery, then that's usually all it takes after a little bit of testing. It's pretty rare to have an intermittent problem on an alternator. I wouldn't say rare, but like, anyways, I don't know. You can talk about it in the comments down below if you've had different experiences than I have. In my own experience, if it's usually not intermittent, it usually fails completely. So anyways, I told them up front I didn't want to waste any of their money if it didn't have an alternator problem. I didn't want to replace it. They were fine with that. I always give them the option, hey, if you want to cover all the bases and replace it, you can. But anyway, we're gonna go test that out. It's probably gonna need a new alternator as well. So all right, here we are. Okay, so I've just come out here and I've tested on the battery. We're getting 10 volts, and then from down here, straight from the alternator to that battery, we're getting 10 volts as well. So it looks like it's probably an issue from when the car warms up. Everything else looks like it's running fine, so we'll go ahead and get that alternator swapped out. Okay, so first things first, we got this tire off, jacked up and supported safely. Now we've removed this dust cover here, a couple of clips, a couple of 10mm bolts, no big deal. The reason we're doing this is we've got to come down here to this windshield washer fluid reservoir. Now in the past, I have heard and I have taken these lines off. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is get it loose and get it moved out of the way here. No need spilling any of your windshield washer fluid, which it looks like there isn't any in here anyways. So yeah, just unbolt it, tuck it out of the way, and then we'll have to get this this reservoir up here. This, I believe, is a coolant reservoir, and then that power steering reservoir as well. And you can see the alternator tucked in there, and we'll be coming up out of this side. We can either come out through this hole or out through the top, but we will need access through here in this space that's being taken up by these reservoirs. So now we've got this removed, we'll take this out of the way and drop it down. Okay, we've got that coolant reservoir tucked out of the way. I don't believe we need to unhook it, but last one I did was a different year model and I don't remember that being there. This you got to be careful with. They're like 10 bucks anyways, but if you twist on these too hard, you'll break the plastic on them. Again, Honda uses all these same ones and they're like 10 bucks and they're always in stock at the parts stores because they're very common. Anyways, just be careful with it. Tuck it up out of the way loosely. Well, I've got to say, I love it when automakers supply a little cubby here for when you're working on it. You can stick your tools in there. Anyways, we'll take this belt off and get that alternator out of there. Don't forget to unhook the battery, and we'll get that new one in there. Okay, we got those 2 bolts out, that belt off, and we just got it loose, so it's going to come up out of this hole. We just got to maneuver it gently, and I believe it comes right up through here. If not, we can move that coolant reservoir and take it out through the hub there. But I believe it comes right up through the top. At least last time I did, but I know last time I think I jacked the motor up a bit because I didn't want to remove all this stuff in the first place, but I ended up having to. So anyways, we'll get it out. All right, there's the new one. It's in there. We've still got to hook it back up, but we're starting to get all the little accessories in there. The belt's on, it's nice and tight. Could maybe use a new tensioner. Tight enough as long as it's not squeaking. Once it starts squeaking, I'll let them know to let me know. And yeah, we'll get it all hooked up and put everything back together. We'll just check back in when it's all done. All right, moment of truth. Everything's running, belt looks good. We're gonna put this multimeter on and see what kind of voltage we have. Okay, looks good, right at 14 volts, 13.93. So we'll let it warm up and make sure that it's got about the same voltage. It needs to have about 14 volts, but so far so good. And that's a little weird there because I just have it resting, so looks good. Okay, this is another episode of Roadside Rescue with the Ernest P YouTube channel. Please subscribe. As always, have a good day and peace out.